You ever watch a sailboat race and just see this beautiful, chaotic mess of sails and you wonder, how in the world are they not all crashing into each other? Well, you're in the right place. See, there's an elegant dance happening out there, and it's governed by a very specific set of rules. Today, we're going to decode them. Let's dive in. Before we even get into a single rule, you've got to understand this quote. The entire sport, really, is built on a foundation of honor. You know, unlike other sports with refs on every corner, sailing is pretty much self-policed. This idea that you hold yourself accountable, that is the heart of it all. And that brings us to the big question, right? You've got unpredictable wind, shifting waves, and a whole fleet of boats all fighting for the exact same tiny piece of water at the exact same time. How do you prevent just total chaos? The answer is a shared understanding of the rules of the road. So let's break down the big ones.
Okay, so we're not going to start with the nitty-gritty of port versus starboard just yet. First, we need to talk about the spirit of the rules. These are the big, powerful ideas that shape every other regulation on the water, and they're what makes sailing such a unique and, honestly, a respected sport.
What's so important about these three is that they override everything else. Rule 1, safety, is number one for a reason. If someone is in real danger, your race is over. You must help. Rule 2 just reinforces that spirit of sportsmanship. No funny business, play fair. And Rule 3, that's a powerful one. It reminds you that you, and you alone, are responsible for your own boat, your crew, and the decision to race. It's on you.
All right, let's put ourselves out on the water. We're heading into maybe the most intense, high-stakes part of any race, the start. This 5-minute window is where races are often won or lost. And believe me, there's a whole set of rules that governs this controlled chaos. The race has already begun.
So first, let's get a key definition straight. A boat is officially racing from its preparatory signal. Now that's usually 4 minutes before the start gun even goes off. This is so critical because it means all that jockeying for position, all that pre-start maneuvering, it's absolutely part of the race. The rules are in full effect.
This is the 5-minute countdown every racer lives and breathes by. At 5 minutes, the class flag goes up with a horn. That's your warning. Your heart starts to pound. At 4 minutes, a second flag, the prep flag, goes up. Now, like we just said, you are officially racing. Then, at 1 minute, that prep flag comes down with a long, distinct sound. And at 0, the class flag drops, the final horn sounds, and you are gone. Okay, the gun is fired, you're in a pack of boats, and you're fighting for clear air. So who has to get out of whose way? This next part covers the absolute rules of the road on the water, and they are essential for keeping things fast, fair, and most of all, safe.
So before we can go any further, we have to define tack. It's actually really simple. It's all about which side of your boat the wind is coming from. So picture yourself sailing along. If the wind is flowing over the right side, the starboard side of your boat, you're on a starboard tack. If it's coming over the left, the port side, you're on a port tack. This one concept is the key to pretty much everything.
And here it is, the single most important rule in all of sailing. Port gives way to starboard. If your boat is on a port tack, you must keep clear of a boat that's on a starboard tack. End of story. It's that simple. If you remember literally nothing else from all of this, just remember the word starboard.
So what does keep clear actually mean? Well, it doesn't just mean don't hit them. It means the boat with the right-of-way shouldn't even have to think about changing course because of you. You have to make your move to get out of the way early and decisively. You can't make them sweat it.
But what happens when two boats are on the same tack heading in the same direction? Well, there are two more simple but super important rules. If you're overlapped, the Windward boat, that's the one closer to the wind, has to keep clear. And if you're not overlapped, well, it's just like driving a car. The boat behind has to keep clear of the boat in front. Simple as that.
Now for the fun part. Let's see how all of this comes together at the most exciting and, let's be honest, the most contentious part of the race course, rounding the marks. This is where the whole fleet compresses. Everybody converges on a single point, and things get very, very tight. So as your boat gets close to a mark, you enter this special area called the zone. Think of it like an invisible circle with a radius of 3 of your boat's hull lengths, stretching out from the mark. The second you cross into this bubble, a whole new set of rules kicks in to manage the inevitable traffic jam. The key concept inside that zone is something called mark room. This is basically the space you're entitled to so you can round that mark properly and safely, without smashing into it or another boat. It's your own protected path around the corner.
So, who gets this room? And here's the answer, plain and simple. When two or more boats are overlapped as they enter that zone, the boat on the inside, the one that's closer to the mark, is entitled to mark room from the boat on the outside. The inside boat gets that protected lane.
Let's break that down, because this is huge. Your right to that inside room is established the very second the first boat's bow enters that three-length zone. If you have an overlap at that point, it is the outside boat's job to stay wide and give you space to make that turn. But, and listen up, this is a massive exception. This rule gets switched off when you're sailing upwind to a mark. In that case, the basic port starboard rule, well, it's still king. You got to remember that.
So, we've covered the basics of how to stay out of trouble. But hey, sailing is fast, it's complex, and mistakes are going to happen. So what happens when you're the one who messes up? Well, this brings us right back to that core principle of sportsmanship we talked about at the very beginning. This is the question every single sailor has to answer for themselves, usually in a split second with adrenaline pumping through their veins. You're pretty sure you just broke a right-of-way rule. Now what?
The answer is you take your penalty. You immediately sail clear of the other boats, and you do 1 or 2 complete 360-degree turns right there on the spot. This is your on-the-water way of saying, my bad, I'm messed up, and I'm making it right. It's a pure moment of sportsmanship that costs you time and distance, but it keeps the game fair for everyone.
Now, it's also worth noting you can get exonerated. Basically, you get let off the hook if another boat forces you into breaking a rule. So, for example, if a boat that's supposed to give you mark room doesn't, and they squeeze you into hitting the mark, you're not going to be penalized for it. They caused the foul. So, if we boil all this down to just 3 essential takeaways, here they are. First, never forget the spirit of the game. Be safe and be fair. Second, the golden rule of the road. Starboard is king, it always has right of way over port. And third, when you get to the corners, the inside boat gets the room. And that leaves us with a final thought. We've decoded all the technical stuff, but it all comes back to that one foundational principle of sportsmanship. The rules create a framework for competition, sure, but it's the sailor's commitment to fairness that truly makes the sport work. So next time you're out there, remember to race hard, but always, always race fair. Thanks for tuning in.